Welcome to NSDI 2018.
This is the 15th NSDI. Great. So we're going to have a few statistics on how NSDI stacked up this time. So we had 255 papers submitted, and 40 of them will be presented at the conference this year. The reviewing style was similar to past years. We had 2 rounds of reviewing. The program committee generated over 1,000 reviews. Thank you, program committee. And at the end of the 2 rounds, we had 1.5 days of a PC meeting at Stanford University. And at the end of it, where we discussed about 70 papers or so. And then in the end, we accepted 40 papers.
So we have numerous people to thank. To start with, you saw that we had over 1,000 reviews, so we placed an enormous burden on the program committee, and they came through with incredibly detailed reviews and were very effective as a program committee. So I'd like to ask all the PC members that are in the audience to stand up for a second. Stand up. Come on, don't be so embarrassed. So a round of thanks to them for all the efforts. It was an incredible amount of work.
So we have a lot of people to thank. We couldn't put up a program like this without the help of the research community. And in particular, we want to thank the people who helped us select the best paper and the community awards. Lin Zong, George Porter, Dalia Malki, Dong-Soo Han, Lily Chiu, Srinivas Keshav, and Tim Wood. We also had a few chair-conflicted papers, and those were managed by 2 program committee members, Jay Lorch and Lin Zong. And then finally, as I mentioned before, we had the PC meeting at Stanford, and we couldn't have done it without the help of Keith Winstein and Mary Jane Swenson.
In addition, I wanted to call attention to a couple key events as well as groups. One was our poster co-chairs, Rachit Agarwal and Dong-Soo Han. They helped organize and review the poster submissions. The poster session itself will be tomorrow evening at 6 to 7:30 p.m. In the Lake Washington Ballroom. I'd also like to thank the Test of Time Award Committee. They're the ones who chose the Test of Time Award, which will be announced at the luncheon today. And finally, also the steering committee, who this is the 15th NSDI, and it has established itself as one of the premier conferences in the area. And this is with great help of the steering committee in terms of keeping this on track and a premier conference.
Again, behind the scenes, there were a lot of people from USENIX who were helping us run the conference, and in particular, Casey, who's I guess somewhere in the room. She's in the back there. Thank you, Casey, for your help and your team's help in making things extremely easy for Srini and me. Thank you.
And of course, there are numerous sponsors, corporate sponsors, that help enable this conference to exist at all. These include companies like Facebook, ByteDance, Google, King Abdullah University, and Microsoft. As well as others at different levels and for different parts of the event.
There are many students who have been awarded grants, and they are in the room today, and this couldn't have happened without the help of the student grant sponsors and the diversity grant sponsors. So I'd like to call out Google, Facebook, Microsoft, NetApp, 2 Sigma, and VMware for their help in making it possible for so many students to attend. And then finally, thanks to all of the authors who submitted their work to this conference, and all of you for coming to the conference, and hopefully we'll have a very vigorous discussion of the technical work that will be presented here in the next 3 days.
There are probably numerous people we forgot to thank, but this is the end of all sort of the thanks in the presentation. What we're going to move on to is instructions of various types for various groups, beginning with instructions for authors. So one, if you're the speaker for one of your papers, Make sure to report to your session chairs in advance of the session, and also to come up and test out your AV connections. In addition, after the presentation, make sure to email your slides to slides@USENIX so that they can be posted online.
There are birds of a feather sessions, many of them tonight and tomorrow night. And you can host your own birds of a feather session, and you can check the BOF's board in the registration area or see the program, and you'll see a couple of BOF sessions are already scheduled, and you can schedule your own one if you like. And these BOF sessions will happen late evening, probably starting around 7 today and tomorrow.
In addition, we ask all students, not just the ones that received grants, as well as the diversity grant recipients, to meet by the registration desk at Tuesday at 3:45. USENIX would like to take a group photograph that they will be able to post online. And just to be clear, this is for all student attendees, not just grant recipients.
So all of the symposium activities are already posted online, but a few that we would like to highlight in particular is, so NSDI18, there are some changes in the way the papers will be managed, and there's an extra deadline and one-shot revision, and we will have a session on this at 5:15 this evening. Please do attend, because there are some significant changes, and we want the program co-chairs for NSDI19 to present that to you. The next thing is that the poster session and reception will be tomorrow night, as Srini already mentioned. And I don't know if there's anything else that I need to mention. The symposium luncheon this afternoon, please attend.
So this brings us to the best part of the opening remarks, which are the best paper awards. So the best paper is given to the paper that is viewed as the most significant research contribution. And this year, the paper that was given this award is NetChain, scale-free sub-RTT coordination. If the authors are in the audience, if they could come up. There should be. So you're handing it up. And there's a USENIX cash prize that goes along with this award, as well as a community award. Thanks. Oh, thank you.
In addition to the Best Paper Award, there's also a community award that is awarded every year. This is the best paper whose code and or data set is made publicly available. And this year, the winner is Stateless Data Center Load Balancing with Beamer. Could the authors of this paper come up to the stage to receive their award? This paper will be presented in the session this afternoon.
Okay. We can leave this here for a second. And
Congratulations.
thank you. Can you put the mic down? Good.
Thank you.
And to wrap things up, there's numerous upcoming USENIX events for all of you interested in various topics that USENIX focuses on, including things like the ATC, hot topics in cloud, hot topics in edge, and hot topics in storage and file systems. And finally, for those of you who are planning ahead, NSDI 2019 will be in Boston next year in February, and it'll be co-located with FAST 2019. The co-chairs are Jay Lorsch and Min-Lan Yu from Microsoft and Harvard, respectively. And as we mentioned earlier, there will be a Q&A session or a presentation at 5:15 today about changes as part of the process. But you can probably catch the program chairs, or at least Jay, out in the hallways today. Okay? And that's
Right. Again, thank you for coming.